Hi there, knife people. Hello, lady and gentlemen. You're probably wondering, why do I have a bucket full of water, a stick, a box, and a bunch of knives on the table? It all started when during my dog walk, I found a cut off branches of a chestnut tree in my neighborhood. So I had to have me a piece or two. And when I got home, I received this box in the mail, which contained this knife. And it came from the relatively new company that sells knives on Amazon. Obviously, they're made in the People's Republic. The company is called Fintiso, and this particular knife is called Atlas. So they provided to me for free. I'm being upfront about this, but I'm not planning to keep it, nor am I planning to provide you affiliated links where I would financially benefit from you buying this knife. And that is because I'm trying to keep my reviews completely independent of the industry. That said, I've been collaborating with them a little bit in the past, and you probably saw some of those videos. It's a quick story here. So originally they contacted me and asked me to collaborate on a knife. I declined. Back then I wasn't taking any kind of offers of that nature. But instead I purchased this knife, which was Fintiso Cobra, from Amazon myself. This knife was a little bit on the pricey side, was $53. Okay, for them, it's a pricey knife. But I kind of bit the bullet and bought the knife, and I did a review, and they were eager to continue collaborating with me. So they sent me this knife, which is Fintiso Harp. So when I found out that they're willing to send me that knife, I agreed. And the reason I agreed, because a lot of my viewers said it was okay with them as long as I stay independent. So to verify that they are sending me a run-of-the-mill knife and not some kind of hand-picked sample reserved for knife reviewers, I bought the exact same model but in a different trim. This is also a Fintiso Harp, and the difference was this has anodized aluminum handles, which are very slick. And this one has a G10 handle, which is very textury, pleasantly textury. And it has DLC coating on the blade, or something that looks as DLC anyway. But to buy it, for some reason, it wasn't available by itself. So I ended up buying it in tandem with this knife called the Rook. And that's another product of their imagination, and a little bit of a funny knife. You have to watch the other video about that. So when they offered to send me this knife, I was ready, and already knew that their knives are reasonably priced and they're good quality. So instead of going over unboxing and features of the knife and talking about what kind of steel it is and that's it, I wanted to actually task this knife with what it's designed to do. And according to their website, it is an outdoorsman, bushcraft, and sort of camping knife. So I'm going to sort of task it with some challenging tasks in that realm, bushcrafting specifically. And that's why I collected or harvested this downed branch from the chestnut tree. Wow, that was a long intro. This is a liner lock knife with a G10 contoured, very nicely contoured handle. So it's three-dimensional handle. It's not just a chiseled out or milled out features. It's actually milled all the way around, which, what I'm going to ask you to do though is, while you're watching this video, think about how much companies that have been more promoted than this one by knife reviewers and other sources, how much more they cost to you. For example, a CVV of this quality would start at $60+ and could end up being at about $90. And I personally don't see a difference in quality, production, heat treatment of their steels, etc. So, this one actually has a premium feature, which surprised me because it's a pretty basic knife other than contoured milling, but it also has a milled titanium clip, which was unexpected, and I don't believe it's mentioned anywhere in the description, although I might be wrong about that. there you have it. This is what this video will be about. I'm going to share some of my bushcrafting skills with you while using the knife that was so kindly provided by this company. And together we'll find out if it's worth your money. I think they're $45 or $46 on Amazon. And with Amazon Day coming in a couple of weeks here, you probably want to wait and buy it then, because everything will be discounted. So let's talk about features that a folding bushcraft or outdoors oriented knife should have. First and foremost, it needs to have a robust blade. Of course, bug out lovers will correct me, because this blade is 150 thousandths thick. Let's double check. Yep, 149 thousandths thick to be precise, which is a pretty thick blade. It's more than 1/8 of an inch for a pocket knife. The knife doesn't weigh a lot. The knife only weighs 4 ounces, 4.08, so 4.1 ounces. Now, it has a couple important features that I find to be necessary on a bushcraft knife. Let me highlight them. First and foremost, while it's a liner lock, you can see that the cutout for your finger for releasing the lock is deep enough that it exposes the metal here to your hand, which means when you are gripping this knife, your hand locks that locking spring or locking bar in place, unlikely to unlock. Another good feature is if so happened that you were gripping the knife and batoning with it, if it unlocked for whatever reason, then the blade will not strike your hand, because this flipper tab will end up just, striking your index finger, and the blade won't close on you. Another thing that I like, this is 14C28M steel, which is very easy to sharpen. What makes outdoor knives hard to sharpen outdoors are the thumb studs, like on the bug out. And you can see, because I sharpened my bug out outdoors, I created, I struck the thumb stud with a sharpening stone. And not only does it, damage the thumb stud, which is really not a big deal on a working knife, but potentially it can create a divot in your edge as you come to that sudden stop. So I don't like thumb studs on a outdoors knife, and this one doesn't have it. Another thing I recently learned as I was working on this video, I will talk about this a little bit later. The other good thing about not having to use thumb studs to open your knife is if your thumb ability to move is limited. Some people have issues with their thumbs, like I do currently. Then I can use this flipper tab and open it this way. Also, that thumb hole is generous enough that I can use my middle finger to reverse flick it like this. So I am happy about that, because opening the bug out, even that little effort, causes a little bit of a pain for me right now in my current present situation. The most basic fundamental thing any bushcraft knife should be able to do is cut through a branch, which is what I'm doing here by going around. I got carried away talking about this knife. What I forgot to show you, let me show you. This is another favorite EDC item of mine as of late. This is a Olight iMini 2. And I'm shamelessly going to provide a link to it, affiliated link to it, on Amazon. They're 20 bucks. It would make a beautiful gift. It recharges from USB port without a cord by plugging it directly in. It has this carabiner that makes it the perfect keychainable or attach it to a pack type light. And it's magnetically actuated. So I'm putting it in, it's off. I don't need to remove it to actuate it. I can hold it like if for a quick task, or I can remove it and then it's magnetic, so I can attach it under a car hood or whatever. It'll bail you out in the situation. I've been carrying it around my neck for a while now, And I am enjoying it this way because, as you can see, my microphone attaches nicely, so I don't have to wear a nerdy pocket t-shirt. If you like pocket t-shirts, be my guest. I personally think it's a little nerdy, but I have to wear them when I film up until now. Let's get back to the knife. The thumb ramp with jimping comes incredibly handy. Yeah, nice and smooth here. So my plan is also to make a grip here and make a notched hook behind it so that I can use it for other tasks like food prep. I'll explain as I go. So I'm going to put a V-hook on this side, and to do that I'm going to make a 45-degree cut like so with this knife, trying to be as symmetrical as I can. And then I'm going to carefully, so when you work toward yourself, you have to be careful. What I like about this opening hole here, it actually gives me a great pinching point for my thumb, giving me an incredible amount of control over this 3 3/8 inch blade. So I'm going to notch this way and straight down, right? And then I'm going to notch. Now, when you're flipping this is where it gets a little awkward, so you have to be super careful and take small notches, small chunks at a time. Because on the wrong side of the stick, you have a little less control. And I'm going to continue working it very carefully. If you haven't done so already, look up Tri-Stick, T-R-Y stick. That is a set of skills and set of notches that you notch into a stick that help you learn some of the most important bushcraft skills. For example, this notched hook is very important in several bushcraft exercises. For example, setting up smears. So I have these two planes coming at each other at 45 degrees. Now I need to flatten it toward the middle of the hook. An expert wilderness guy would already have finished that. Usually, a good measure of skill is if you can make this notch in 1 minute or less. But it also depends on the hardness of the wood. So this is what I got so far. So to illustrate, I filled this 5-liter bucket with about 2 liters of water. So it's nice and heavy. And now I'm going to explain why I didn't make a notch. I kind of made it upside down. So there is reason to my madness. The reason is if I made it the right way, I would have to bring my hand over the fire, over the boiling water, hook up the handle, and then lift it directly up while the water is splashing around. With this method, inverse notch, I come in like this, and I can now use both hands to lift it out of the fire, and I can leverage it thusly and carry it safely so the bucket is not tending to sway. If I was doing it the other way, just by hooking it up like this, I potentially, holding it above it, it would get hot, uncomfortable, and I potentially would spill boiling water on myself. So one more time, I'll come in like this, lean it down, and lift it up nice and safe. I can manipulate it nicely. You know, there you have it. Next, I am going to make a hole so that I can attach a lanyard to carry this club. And to make holes in the stick, if you try to drill it like this, A, it will take you forever. B, you can potentially damage the tip of your knife. And C, you would get a very ugly hole. So I'm going to try a different method. And to do this, I'm going to go behind where my hook is, make a circular notch here, right? And then I'm going to start thinning out the wood here. And I have never tried it with chestnut. So to be honest with you, I don't know how the wood chips. For a small channel like mine to continue to exist, it's absolutely critical that you hit the like or share the link to this video. All you have to do is click share and copy it. The algorithm will do the rest. I feel like I need to touch up this knife, so I'm going to use my folding. I'm just going to go with a 400 grit side. Feel for that angle. And I'm just going to address any imperfections. By the way, my sincerest thanks go to those of you who donate to the channel via super likes. It's very humbling and incredibly inspirational. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And 14CR, I'm sorry, I keep saying CR, 14C28N is originally was designed to make razors and scalpels. Hence the name surgical steel or razor blade steel. And as such, it was supposed to be easy to sharpen and hone quickly because people that use those implements needed a quick touch-up between shaves or between, I don't know what people would do with scalpels. A medical doctor would actually hone the knife before performing a surgery, I imagine. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Okay, how are we doing? I feel like we are almost there. And now I'm going to just ease that burr on the 1000 side. So there are different versions of these. I like the fact that this one has 400 and 1000. You probably don't need anything more or less in the field for this type of quick touch-up. Yeah. And now I have my strap. It's a strap made out of old trouser belt with a black compound. And black compound actually is more aggressive than green. So it's more of a honing than stropping, both. And then I flip on the convex side, which does not have any compound. It's the reason it's so dark. It's because I've been using it for a while and gives me more of a single point of contact. I made this convex on purpose. Okay, so I feel like I'm pretty darn good there. Let's see if it improved the performance. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Definitely recommend you honing any knife that you buy, even though Fintiso actually hones their knives. At least the ones I examined looked like they had a little bit of stropping or honing done, probably on a paper wheel or some similar implement. Yeah, that definitely helped with that belly here. Now you see I'm taking a nice chip off, and now I have to flip on this side. I want them to be as parallel as I can get them. And now I'm going to make a line here on the flat, like it's actually a little bit of a notch, so it stays visible. And then I'm going to carry it over on this side and make a line here, or a notch, right? Just to make sure they're lined up. And then I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch toward the end of the stick and make another straight line parallel to the first one. Make sure it's visible. Rotate the stick and do the same on this side. A parallel line about 1/4 of an inch away. And so now I'm going to use the tip of my knife to mark a square right here. I'm going to insert it and pry with it back and forth. So that's the answer. Why would you pry with a knife? To accomplish this task. So I'm going to go from one line perpendicularly to the other and make sure my tip gets to that line in both directions. And then I'm going to do the same 1/4 inch away here in both directions. And now I'm going to go across the grain and do the same thing with the tip of my knife. Insert and wiggle, reverse, insert and wiggle, and again on this line. Wiggle, it helps having a support. So if you're in the woods out there, you should use a stump or a piece of firewood to support your workpiece here. And now I'm getting into a slightly softer heart of the wood. So I'm going to stop and flip it over. If you're not yet a subscriber, I hope this video earns your subscription. And if not, thanks for watching anyway. And it's a pretty thick piece of wood. So I didn't give it any time to dry or cure. It's been on the ground for about 2 weeks now. So I have a hole now. I don't know if you will be able to see. Oh, actually, you will be. So, can you see it? Yeah. So now I got a hole. And it probably took me longer than necessary. And a person who knows what they're doing would have done it a lot faster. Like, for example, metal complex. Which reminds me about something I wanted to talk about. If you want to know what are the best band-aids, ask a knife guy. You often see me wearing one in the videos. I also noticed that other guys like Metal Complex, in fact, he released a video tonight where he has 2 band-aids, a major cut there. I've seen, I believe, Jared Neves wearing band-aids. We know what we're talking about when we're talking band-aids. So I found this product by pure accident. It's a brand name band-aid, which wasn't too unreasonably priced. But look at that. It has Neosporin. In a knife world, that is, that would be a Benchmade with a Spidey hole. So in other words, best of both worlds, an axis lock and a Spidey hole, ergonomic grip, and a good blade shape all in one knife. That's what you get in this Band-Aid and Neosporin combo. And the reason I'm doing it, I want you to know, but I also am going to throw another affiliated link to Amazon, because my channel really needs a little bit of your help here as far as finances go. So, and I will not be selling knives. I promise that to myself. Inside, you will find this Band-Aid, which they perfected the sort of very easy to open and peel. And this part here is saturated with Neosporin, but not the kind that comes out of the tube that you buy. It's a little denser and sort of stickier. So it literally sticks, kind of glues your wound together. At least it feels that way. And I'm gonna sacrifice it. I'm gonna need it soon, maybe tonight. Anyway, so instead of 3 to 4 days to sort of start mending your skin mends within 8 to 12 hours. I kid you not. I hope you never have to find out, but if you're learning sharpening bushcrafting skills, you should buy band-aids, and if you're going to buy band-aids, might as well buy the best. I can totally assure you, you will thank me for it after cursing me for showing you how to do this type of tasks. So I'm going to cut me a pretty generous piece since it's for my multi-tool club, and singe the ends. So I'm kind of making a shoelace style end here, and this one I'm just going to cinch. I'm going to pass it through. And now I have me a lanyard. I usually put a slip knot, but I'm going to put a simple knot just for illustration purposes. So if I am hammering on something or batoning, if it slips out of my hand, it's not going to fly away. This club and bucket lifter combo multi-tool was done with this Atlas knife, but the video is not over. Is this knife sort of worthy of an outdoor designation? A lot of folks think that liner log's niche is cutting cardboard boxes, etc. But as you can see, it has plenty of capability, and the steel held up. I'm gonna strop it a little bit before putting it away. And in general, you want to clean your knife after using, as you just saw. And so now I'm going to wake up a neighborhood and use my club here. To chop on this piece that came from the same tree, different branch. So let's see how that works. Yeah, clean cut. How did the blade perform? Of course, I never have a piece of paper when I need it. I'll just use this cardboard box. Nothing wrong with the blade. By the way, that's another way of doing a quick notch, is get it in like this and then notch it off like so. That's why making a club first is important when you start any bushcraft project. If you want to split a piece of wood, I wish I was doing it all outdoors, but there's a way to baton without stressing out the lock. So now the knife tries to lock itself, but the result is obvious. So let's do it again. YouTube knife reviewers love feathering a stick so much that you will end up with an impression that it's an absolute must-do when starting a fire. I assure you, it is not. It is necessary when your wood is not completely dry, as in this case. What you're doing by creating these feathers, you create air veins or air flukes between those feathers. And then if you hold them over your ignition source like a coal or a lighter, it allows the wood to dry in seconds. And once it's dry as a match, it will light up. But if you already have dry kindling, this is not a necessary step. The reason it's being shown so much is because it's easy on a knife and it sells it well.